Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're asking a pretty wild question. What if we unplugged the whole world? Let's dive into what would really happen if the internet just disappeared. I mean, think about it. It's so woven into every single part of our lives. But what would actually happen if it just vanished for a day? We're talking about a full 24 hours without the internet. And no, this isn't just about losing your social media feeds or your favorite cat videos. This is about the very systems that run our modern world, just grinding to a complete halt. Okay, so first things first, let's get this big question out of the way. Could the entire global internet actually be turned off? Like, is there some secret off switch hidden away in a bunker somewhere? Well, the short answer? Nope. See, the internet isn't one single big machine. It's a massive, sprawling, decentralized network of networks. In fact, it was specifically designed so that if one part goes down, data can just find another route to get where it's going. It's built to be resilient. I love this quote from BBC Science Focus because it just illustrates the point perfectly. Trying to disable the whole internet would be like trying to stop every river in the world from flowing at once. You just can't. Water will always find a new path, and in the same way, the internet is designed with all this redundancy. There's just no single point of failure that could take the whole thing down on a global scale. And this is a really big but. That doesn't mean it can't be shut down on a smaller scale. National shutdowns are a totally different story. It is very possible for a government to order a shutdown within its own borders, effectively cutting the country off from the rest of the digital world. And listen, this isn't some far-fetched theory. It's already happening. Back in 2011, during the Egyptian Revolution, the government just ordered its service providers to pull the plug. And it's only getting more common. A digital rights group called Access Now has been tracking this stuff, and they've documented a record number of these shutdowns in recent years. It's a trend that, unfortunately, just keeps on growing. Okay, so let's run with that. Let's imagine it happens right where you live. The connection is cut. Everything's offline. What's the first thing you'd notice? Well, the scary answer is pretty much everything, all at once. Right, we're not talking about your Netflix binge getting interrupted. We're talking about the absolute bedrock of society just failing. You couldn't pay with a card, you couldn't get cash from an ATM, your phone wouldn't work, not cell, not landline. Think about emergency services, hospital records, even the schedule for the bus you take to work, all gone. Paying for gas at the pump? Nope. All those things seem so different, but they all share one single, terrifying point of failure. They all need the internet to function. Without it, our world just stops. And the consequences, well, they could be truly dire. This one Reddit user, Koro Maikina, put it pretty bluntly. People would literally die. And they're not wrong. Just think about hospitals. They rely so heavily on the internet now for everything. Accessing patient records, getting lab results, coordinating between doctors. An outage isn't just some big inconvenience. It becomes a direct threat to people's lives. So on top of all that chaos and the very real human cost, you've got the economic side of things. And the damage there would be, well, it's absolutely staggering. Let's just take a look at the numbers for a second. Get this, a single 24-hour global outage is estimated to cost the world's economy $43 billion. That is just a jaw-dropping number. The entire system of modern commerce, from online shopping to huge financial transactions, would just be frozen solid. And it makes sense, right? The more connected your country's economy is, the harder it's going to get hit. Take the US, for example. They'd lose around $11 billion in just one day. And you can see other major economies like China, the UK, Japan, they're all facing losses in the billions too. And this financial bleeding, it would be incredibly fast. We're talking about critical sectors like energy and telecom losing millions of dollars every single hour. So yeah, this isn't some slow burn problem. It's an immediate, full-blown economic catastrophe. Okay, so with everything digital just failing everywhere you look, how on earth would we even begin to cope? The only answer, really, is to look to the past. I mean, banks would literally be thrown back in time. You're not going to believe this, but the old backup systems from the 1970s involved mailing physical data tapes between banks. Can you even imagine? And in stores, retailers would have to dust off those old-school credit card impression machines. You know, the ones with the sliders that go clunk, clunk. That's how you'd pay for things. Everything would slow down to an absolute crawl. Now, any business with a half-decent emergency plan would be kicking into gear, and the first steps are always the most crucial. Step 1. You have to confirm it's a real widespread outage and not just your local network. Then, immediately, you designate one person to be the incident commander. Someone has to be in charge. In a situation like this, clear leadership and constant communication are pretty much the only things that can help you manage the chaos. And for the rest of us, with our phones and messaging apps totally dead, we'd have to get pretty creative. You'd probably see a big comeback for stuff like two-way radios. But the real lifeline for critical communications, that would be satellite phones. For anyone lucky enough to have one, they'd still work because they connect directly to satellites in orbit, completely bypassing the internet that's down on the ground. So, okay, after imagining all that chaos, what's the real lesson here? What does this whole thought experiment actually tell us about the world we live in today? I think this really gets to the heart of it. The internet isn't just some tool that we use anymore. It's basically become the central nervous system of our global society. It's the core infrastructure that literally everything else is built on top of. And that brings us to this really crucial paradox, right? The internet itself, the network, is incredibly resilient and decentralized. It's almost impossible to shut down globally. But our society's complete and total reliance on it has created this massive centralized point of failure. So the network itself is strong, but our dependency on it is incredibly fragile. So, thinking about a day without the internet isn't just some fun hypothetical game. It really exposes this profound vulnerability right at the heart of our modern world. And it leaves us with a pretty serious question to think about. Our whole world runs on the internet. So, are we prepared for the day it stops?